While browsing at my local thrift store, I came across some great frames. So I took the frame, I cleaned it up with a little bit of Windex, and then I took it apart. I browsed my craft stash at home and I found this canvas linen fabric that I'm going to be using. I marked on the mat border just so I knew how much room I had to work with. And then I took some black acrylic craft paint and I used a foam pouncer and I pounced it onto my daughter's hand. And then I had her press her hand onto the linen canvas fabric. So we took our dog Zoe and we put some paint on her little paw using a paintbrush. And then I just took her little paw and I carefully tried as best as I could to push it in the middle of my daughter's handprint on the canvas fabric. My dog is a little hyper, so she wiggled and squirmed a little bit, but we were able to get what I think was a pretty good paw print. So I cut the canvas fabric down to fit into the frame, and then I replaced the mat border around the prints and put it back together. Before I put the backing on though, I just wrote on the back of the mat border their names and the year so that my daughter will always remember when we did this. Now what she is left with is a cute, adorable print for her room of her and her four-legged best friend.
Seems like I'm always cleaning up the floor after my dogs get a drink. Here are 3 projects to help eliminate the constant need to wipe up the floor. First, you want to take a plastic plant saucer and some jute rope. Hot glue the rope to the edge of the saucer, beginning at the bottom. Place a dollop of glue, holding the rope in place just until it adheres to the glue. Then you just want to go around and around the bottom of the saucer until it is filled to the top of the saucer. This adds a decorative touch for only a few dollars. Once you reach the end of the rope, cut it off and then glue in place so the rope does not fray. Now you have a high-end looking saucer. Now you want to add a water bowl to the saucer and a few non-poisonous plants. I chose Creeping Jenny, but you can use whatever you'd like. Just make sure they are non-toxic to your dog in case he wants to have a little nibble. Then you want to add decorative stones. I chose black. You could choose white. You can choose whatever color complements your decor. Not only will these stones keep your plants and your bowl in place, they will drain the water to the bottom. Now fill with fresh water, and your doggies have a very pretty place to drink. Lottie loves it. Next, using a pedestal planter, remove the plants and add a water bowl that fits right inside the planter. Add some fresh water, and now you have a bowl that is at the right height for your dog. I used a little one because I have little dogs. You want to take a water bottle and drill holes about 1/2 inch from the bottom using a small bit. I drilled holes all the way around the bottom of the bottle. Using a large saucer, you want to put the bottle in the middle, hold it down, and add fresh water. The water from the bottle will constantly fill the water dish. Now all you have to do is fill the water bottle. I hope this inspires you to make one or all of these projects for a doggie that you love.
Our dog Feta loves laying in the backyard, so we wanted to give her a space all her own. Alex grabbed a pallet and we got to work. We made our measurements and cut off the last 2 slats using a circular saw. This was super easy, but left the ends a bit flimsy. We used some scrap wood we had in the garage to cap off the ends and screwed it to secure it. Then we headed to the store to pick up some 1x4s and cedar fence pickets to finish up our design. Using the 1x4s, we mapped out 4 legs to secure our roof to. Creating an angle we liked, we marked and cut these posts to size. We worked smarter and not harder and used the first boards we cut as templates for the remaining 3 legs. After giving the boards and the entire pallet a light sand, we secured the 4 posts with 3-inch wood screws to all 4 corners. Then we attached 2 side braces. This was as easy as lining up the angles and screwing them in from the side. Using the cedar pickets we picked up earlier, we capped off the front and the back of the pallet to create a more finished look. To finish the design off, we used more 1x4s to make a slat roof that flowed down the back. We measured and cut these boards in bulk and gave them a quick sanding before starting to attach them. Using a spacer board to keep consistency, we used a nail gun to secure the boards. You could also use screws here too. And just like that, our cabana was built. To finish it off, we decided to use a clear stain for the top, back, and the posts. This will protect the wood from the Texas rain since this cabana will be living in our yard. Using a rag and brush to apply the stain, this took no time at all. For the base, we used leftover exterior paint from our front door to coat the pallet. This was a harder job than anticipated to get in the grooves, but it was worth it for the final result. We moved it to Feda's favorite spot to lay in the yard and added a cute bed to match the rest of our outdoor decor.
First, add a couple of tablespoons of coffee grounds to 2 cups of hot water. Stir until the coffee is fully dissolved. Pour the mixture into the baking sheet pan. Place a sheet of printer paper into the coffee mixture and gently push it down to submerge. Carefully pick it up and turn over to wet the other side. Push down into the mixture again and let it soak for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, gently lift the paper out. Allow the excess liquid to drip off and lay it flat on the cutting board or other flat surface. If desired, add a few dry grounds here and there on the paper and pat to work in and dissolve on the wet surface. These will create dark spots on the paper for a more aged look. Using the hairdryer, start drying the paper. Move the heat back and forth to dry the surface evenly. I'm holding one corner up so I don't have to pick at it to turn it over. After a few minutes, very carefully lift the paper. Wipe the flat surface dry with a paper towel and lay the paper back down on the other side. Continue flipping until the paper is thoroughly dried. I like the hairdryer method as there is minimal curling during the drying process. While you can pop the paper into the oven on low for a few minutes, the paper will severely curl and warp in the oven. The hairdryer gives you a flatter end result, which will be easier to feed into the printer. Next, set your scanner to scan in grayscale and on the highest DPI setting. Mine is 1200 DPI. Open the scanner bed and position your best friend's paws in the middle. Note that their full weight should not be put onto the scanner. It will either malfunction or worse, break. Bailey is a whopping 70 pounds and is an exceptionally good sport. I'm supporting his weight and there's only enough pressure on the scanner bed for full contact with his paws. Start the scan and hold still until your scan is complete. I love how the high DPI gets all of the sweet little details, like the fur between his toes and the texture of his pads. Feed the aged paper into the paper tray and print. Add double-sided tape to the back of the aged paper in the corners. Center the picture and press the tape in place. Without the glass pressing down on the paper, the warped, aged quality comes out even more, so that's why I'm leaving the glass out. But you can leave the glass in your own picture if you prefer. Thanks for watching Home Talk. Bailey and I will see you next time.